Kia ora mai tātou, tēnā tātou katoa. Members, when we broke for the when we adjourned for the dinner break, we were debating the Official Information Act, Parliamentary Under-Secretaries Amendment Bill. And the sponsor of the bill, Adrian Rurahui, was speaking. He has 6 minutes and 15 seconds remaining, should he wish to avail himself of the privilege. Adrian Rurahui.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before the dinner break, sir, I was talking about the my amendment bill, of course, and just to recap, there has been a review by the Law Commission who made 137 recommendations, quite wide-sweeping ones, and I think, Mr. Speaker, I want to also mention, if I didn't before the dinner break, that the Chief Ombudsman has started a review of the Official Information Act as well. And I understand that will be due out before the end of the year. So, as I was saying, the government's record on transparency has been quite woeful. Just yesterday we had the High Court ruling that the Trade Minister Grosser acted unlawfully responding to an official information request. And I think that goes to the nub of my bill, sir. This is about open and transparent government. And any party in this House, sir, that believes in open and transparent government ought not to have any problem with my bill. I think probably there will be some parties that do, but I want to talk about one of the drivers for having this bill in the first place, and that was last year. The government appointed a Parliamentary Under-Secretary, and some of our members on this side of the House have been rather frustrated by not being able to make official information requests to the Under-Secretary that has responsibilities for charter schools and also Under-Secretary to the Minister for Regulatory Reform. So charter schools have been excluded from the Official Information Act when they were set up, and that arrangement, according to the Chief Ombudsman, may very well be unconstitutional. And I suspect that in the Chief Ombudsman's report at the end of this year, maybe I'm hoping that we will get a more substantive position from the Chief Ombudsman. So it's therefore vitally important that those with oversight responsibilities for these schools, such as the Under-Secretary, should be subject to proper and democratic accountability. National and the ACT Party may claim that they have already accounted for this with respect to those delegated responsibilities, but I would ask, if so, they should have no problem supporting this bill that seeks to correct the anomaly in the legislation. Can I make a couple of quotes? And this one is from David Seymour's maiden speech, where he said, "Public policy should be measured only by the results." Well, if I were to be thinking about the results of applications for official information regarding charter school, then this public policy has been a dismal failure. And I'd love to hear members opposite address that issue. If that is true, if someone who can make that kind of statement about public policy and then not support this particular bill, which goes to enhance that public policy, then there's something drastically wrong. And I would say that what is wrong is that that particular member is not upholding what he said when he came into this House. Let me also, another quote from Mr Seymour about another bill that he wants to put into the members' ballot. And he yesterday, I believe, made the statement, in my view, it is politically, morally, legally, and in terms of public policy, the right thing to do. And I say to this House that this is the right thing to do. Open and transparent government should never be subject to not being able to access that kind of information, and I highly recommend the Law Commission's report, the Public's Right to Know, review of the official information legislation. And I would suggest to Mr David Seymour, sir, that he go and read this. I suggest that everyone does. It makes, as I said before, 137 recommendations on this very issue. And this is something that the government of this day should address. I think that there have been, to be fair, these could have been corrected earlier. But I refer to my earlier comments around the way that this government has handled official information requests, and I believe that it has escalated it to a position where this piece of this bill is sorely needed. Nō reira, tēnei te mihi ake ki te whare nei. I look forward to everyone's contribution, actually, sir. Nō reira, tēnā tātou katoa.
Kia ora.